Hey, Tim, so we're going to talk about our software for landscaping businesses, but from the outset, I think we need to put our cards on the table and say, you're the more likely of the two of us who's a landscaper because you've just been doing some landscaping at your place.
Yeah, yep.
Obviously putting a landscaper out of business.
Well, no, I did use the services. I had, someone do the concreting just in the last couple of days. But look, I did some, I want to say myself, but that's not really accurate. I had my brother who's far better at that sort of stuff, help me with it. Well, do most of the work.
Yep.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's been an educational experience. But that said, I also go to my local landscaper a lot for firewood, which is also, something we see those businesses doing a lot of, certainly through the winter months.
Right. Well, look, I've just moved into a place with a backyard, so I do have some landscaping related work to do, but I just won't be very good at it. So I think I'll have to get somebody. Take us into the software. And I guess it's worth noting that the software we're pitching to landscapers has really come out of the work that we've done with garden centres.
Yeah, absolutely. Like there's a very strong link between garden centres and landscapers.
Yeah.
Where we found, we were doing systems for garden centres. That then kind of progressed to garden centres that had a landscaping component as well. Yeah. And now we're seeing quite a lot of businesses come to us that are purely landscaping. So no green life. It's all about the bulk goods, building supplies as well. It's been a real growth industry, especially over the last 18 months.
So if you share your screen and give us an overview of what you're seeing landscapers ask us as to whether the software can do.
Yeah, absolutely. So I've had, quite a few businesses come on board with us in the last couple of months. And I would say the absolute biggest point of difference we offer those businesses is the fact that certainly we can do, your traditional point of sale, but we also have a secondary part of the system for managing all of the quoting and invoicing. So while you can do those transactions over the counter, so if, let's say a gardener comes into the landscape suppliers business and, maybe they're building a retaining wall or something like that, you can either do that as an over-the-counter transaction, or you can also do it as a quote and invoice as well. So I could jump into quote and invoice management, and from within here, I can treat it in a different way to how I would manage a normal transaction. So I've got a quote on the screen here, so I can see this one's still at quote stage. It hasn't been invoiced to them. I can actually edit this, and I can change things. Like when I create a quote or an invoice for a customer, I can actually flag multiple delivery addresses against that one account. So if it is, someone that works commercially, they might have 5 or 6 different jobs on the go.
Right.
They can have those different addresses preset in the system. And what it'll do is they'll actually remember any notes that you have against that address. So you can see there it's got drop at end of driveway for the Smith Street job, whereas the High Street job has a note drop next to front gate.
Yep.
So you can manage all of that sort of stuff in there. I'll just cancel that. You've also got on the screen here, I've got an option for notes. So against any quote or invoice, I can record any notes I might want on the overall quote or invoice at the top here. Nice. But then I can also do it at a product level down on the items I've got on this. So I've got, a couple of C channels and H channels and the concrete sleepers. I can actually have specific notes. So I've got a note on here against the 1800 H channel. I can click that and I can see there's a note there to cut it to 1750. So on the paperwork that I print out, so the quote or the invoice, that will all be noted on there. I can also go one step further. If this customer turned around and said, yes, they want to proceed with it, I can hit my print option. It's giving me a warning there. This particular account customer hasn't paid me any money in a while, so it's telling me their account is over their limit.
Yep.
But I can say yes to continue with that, and that can be password protected. So if only a manager or owner can approve someone going over the limit, you can set that.
Right.
But this quote here, for example, I could turn around and I could go, I want to email a copy through to the customer and I want to print that. If I want to convert it to be an invoice, I could do that at the same time. And I could also print off a picking slip, which is different to that quote and invoice as well. So you can, manage things really, really thoroughly.
So I know you want to go through more of the software, but give me an idea of the sorts of businesses that you're finding yourself talking to. Are they one-person operations, or are they multiple people operations? What sort of businesses are you talking to in this landscaping side of the business?
Well, look, it'd be your traditional landscape supply yard. So, the last, I would say, 3 that I've spoken to have all had a fairly similar setup, where they have the main kind of service counter, where they might have 1 or 2 stations where they can, serve and interact with over-the-counter customers.
Yep.
But then they might have 2 or 3 computers out in the office where they might take phone orders or manage reordering with suppliers and things like that. So, yeah, in the sense of what we do for our other customers, very similar size.
Yep. Interesting. All right, I'll let you go on with it.
I was just going to say that documentation, those quotes and invoices, they're also, so I'm just going to do print a copy of my quote and also the picking slip. They're also customizable. So there I can see a copy of my picking slip and I can see the goods that are on it. There's my note saying cut it to $17.50.
Yep.
We can customize all of that. So we put, their logo on the top. And this one here being a picking slip, this is really good. If the landscape yard is going to deliver that to the end customer, they can send this one along with the goods that doesn't call out that the price that, the person building the retaining wall might have paid for the goods. It's simply saying, here, we're delivering these supplies.
Nice.
Yeah, and there's your quote as well. So again, totally customizable. So if I did have any notes against the overall invoice, they appear at the top. I can see my cut to $17.50 in the body, got the logo on the top, nice and professional. And yeah, we can design those to suit.
Nice. Very nice. Okay. What's another part of the software that you see them often using and asking about?
Yeah. So that was the quote and invoice maintenance side of things. Another big thing is just those over-the-counter transactions where, someone might come in and say, well, look, I want a cubic meter of soil, for example.
Yep.
Really easy to put those sales through. So on my main screen,
you can't scan a cubic meter of soil.
Look, it gets pretty tricky to label it, is the biggest issue. So what you can do, look, some customers print off cheat sheets where they'll have the barcodes and they can scan them, but it's a little bit archaic.
Right.
We can now use our touchscreen layers to do it. So I can hit bulk landscape supplies. I can go into my different types. So it's soil. I've got my different types of soil and it's the budget mix. And I can choose what denomination they're, how much they want to purchase. And now there's a few different ways to handle this. When I sell this quarter of a cubic meter, it will actually deduct a quarter of a cubic meter from my overall budget mix, and same with the half. But I can also simply do fractional sales. So if someone came in and said, I want 4.5 cubic meters, I can do 4.5 of my cubic meter, and that will simply work out the overall price for me.
Right.
Now, to make it that little bit easier, a lot of our landscape supply customers have tiered pricing where, 1 to 5 cubic meters is a certain price, 6 to 10, it might drop slightly, and 11 onwards, it might be a different price again. So we can preset that. So as soon as you put in what quantity they want to purchase, it'll work out the price for them. So no manual calculation. So you can see there, that just tells me there's an upsell opportunity. If they buy between 6 and 9, it'll drop to $49 each. So if I change that from 4.5 to 6, you can see there that's automatically discounted my price and adjusted my total.
Nice. So, I mean, this is an example, a good example of where some traditional retail smarts can be applied to help serve a need that you've seen very specifically in this landscaping supply business. Yeah,
and a lot of these businesses are totally manual. So, when someone does come in to, buy that soil, they're going through a bit of paper, seeing what their price is, seeing if they do have a formula for it and trying to work it out. Whereas this just does it for them.
Yeah. Excellent.
And if I wanted to go one step further, if this, I'd started putting this sale through and then they go, chuck that on the account. I can just hit select customer here and I can choose my customer out of my database. I've got one in here just called account customer. Again, it's giving me the warning about their credit limit. And you can see there that just changed their price. So it went from $55 to $48 because they get the trade price on goods.
Right.
And same goes when I finalize this one. Same as that previous screen, I can select which address I want this, to be registered to. This one I could say is a curbside pickup, so I can flag that against it. And I've just put that on their account. That'll, at the same time, automatically email them a copy of that invoice as soon as I put that sale through.
Right. Nice. Okay, so what else have you got?
Look, so there's that over-the-counter transaction side of things. I guess the other thing that has been really important is just the management of those customer accounts. A lot of customers of these businesses can be a little lax with their paperwork. So as I said, it'll automatically email a copy of those invoices through. But if for whatever reason, if that customer called up and said, I can't find these last 5 invoices, I can jump into my customer screen here and I can simply go print email transactions. And I could say, all right, no worries. Well, you lost those ones. I'll just select those and email, and that'll send them straight through to them. So really easy. And from within this screen as well, I can also manage things like their discount profiles. So you can see here, these guys are a trade customer, so they get 20% off.
Yep.
But I might have, retail VIP customers that might get 5% off retail. I might have family that get cost plus 2%. We can structure different discount profiles to suit.
Right.
And you'll see there's also a trigger there to say show notes. I can also put notes against this particular customer, and I can tick that. And anytime I do a sale for them, it's going to bring up a little window with that information. So if maybe you've had an issue with someone else coming in, putting things on their account or whatever it may be, I might say, put a note on there and absolutely grab the details of the person who's there for that transaction.
Yep. Okay. I noticed that you were using the touch screen before. So yeah. With that screen that we've got in front of us right now, I'm asking you a question I know the answer to, but how much can they change that?
So totally customizable. So you can see there I've got that layout, but I can also at the top here, I might have different layouts. So I can just jump between those to change it, or I can hit my edit option there to change that.
Right.
And those buttons can be, you might want to have less columns, less rows. They can be shortcuts to absolute products. They can go through levels, and they can also be shortcuts to other areas of the system. So I can jump straight from here into my quoting screen, for example, and it'll take me straight there.
Right. The other thing is I can also change the colors and those sorts of things. I've got a lot of capacity to change to make this more useful to me.
You do, yeah. You're saying you don't like my design there?
Oh, no, look, I think some of the color choices are a bit odd, but tell me the kinds of people you're dealing with in this landscape supplies area, what are they like with technology?
Look, I would say, rightly so. It's probably not their primary focus, and we certainly don't expect them to be tech whizzes. Like, we're there to help with this side of things.
So why should they consider this software then?
Look, I would say a couple of big things. Firstly, of the customers we've had come on board, we've received amazing feedback. Like, they are loving it, from the software functionality through to the support that comes with it. Like, our support is all Australian based. They can just pick up the phone and call us if they have a question.
I'm going to be a bit difficult at this point, and let's say I'm the customer. And I hate computers. I really hate computers. And I'm only looking at this because a mate said I should look at it, but I have no interest in computers. I don't like them. I don't use them. I haven't got a smartphone. I really have no interest in this system.
Yeah.
And if I say that to you, what are you going to say?
Oh, look, I'm going to say, well, you're going to hate us to start with. So if you were to turn around and say, yes, I'll put it in, you are going to hate it for the first few weeks because it's an adjustment.
I'm the kind of person who's going to jump in and say, I'm not going to put the system in.
Righto. Well, that's totally fine. That's your call. I mean, we're there to help if you want us to. But
are you going to harass me? Are you going to call me next week or next month and make up some excuse and tell me that I should be looking at it?
No, if you tell me you don't want to do it, I'm going to accept that and I'm going to move on because life's too short.
What makes me? How can I believe that you, as a professional salesperson, are going to let me go and you're not going to harass me?
Look, I would probably say, well, look, I don't consider myself to be a professional salesperson, but also, sorry.
Don't tell your boss that.
But I mean, also, we're not chasing customers just for the sake of chasing customers. Like, we want this to be a good fit for them and those customers to be a good fit for us. So,
I mean, the reason I'm asking the question is one of the things we say internally, and you know this, is life's too short. Life's too short to have people you've had to drag across the line kicking and screaming. We want people as customers who really want to solve business issues and improve productivity and make their businesses more valuable.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
If somebody thinks this software can do that for them and we show them how they can do that, then that's a win for everybody. If somebody says, I'm not a tech person, I don't like technology, I don't want technology, we'll shake their hand, we'll wish them all the best, and we'll be here if they need us at some point in the future.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. There's, there really is no pressure. Like, happy to do a demonstration with anyone and assess their needs. And you're spot on. If they say, no, I don't want this, absolutely, they're on their own.
So let's go back to sand, because we joked about it, but you can't barcode sand. Are you going to be able to tell me when I need to, soil, I think it was. Are you going to be able to tell me when I need to reorder more soil?
Yeah, so a couple of things you can do. You can have it set up with minimum and maximum levels. So when you do start running low, I have a feeling I've got my firewood in there. Yeah, so my firewood there, if I tried to sell a ton of that, it's actually telling me I haven't got any of that left.
Right.
When I get down to having 10 ton, it'll start to count down. You've got 9 left, 8 left, and so on. Yep. I can still sell that, though, because I might have had the truck just come and deliver a whole chunk of it, and I still want to be able to put those sales through.
So when that truck comes and delivers a whole chunk of it, you then what we call arrive the stock into the software.
Correct, yeah, to update that level.
The software, truck of firewood, which is going to be whatever the measurement is, that gets loaded to your inventory, which means you can start selling firewood again.
Correct, yeah, spot on. Yep.
Easy as pie.
So this gives you that warning to say you're starting to run low. If I wanted to, I could jump in the background and say, look, tell me what firewood I'm going to need. It'll even break that down by month. So if I wanted to, and firewood is a great example for this because it's, it's obviously seasonal. I could jump in and I could see how many ton I sold in, July, August, September, October. And I could, factor in my reordering based on that.
And look, one of the interesting things about COVID, for example, is that it's disrupted some of those cycles. So you're saying there about comparing trading periods. Let's say this is a landscape business and they're in Victoria, which in the middle of 2020 was in a pretty heavy lockdown.
Yeah.
So that business might want to look back and say, what was the situation in 2019 or 2018? And with the software, it's easier to do that sort of comparison.
Correct. Yeah, absolutely. And, again, firewood being a great example, like I think that's something most of our customers would agree has really gone through the roof because, people working from home, obviously they need that heating. It's really growing.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else that you think is important to show people?
Oh, look, one last thing I don't have on my desk, but I do have over here. I had a landscaping business. Look, I reckon this one was about 2 years ago. We've got a third-party company we work with that can produce like a credit card style gift voucher. And they absolutely love those gift vouchers because I can scan that. I can tell it I want to charge it with $100.
You hold that up to the camera?
Yeah. And if that customer only spent, say, $20, it would know that there's $80 credit linked to that. But what they actually did, they simply pre-charged a heap of them with $20. There was a new development popping up nearby. So whenever they would see someone's letterbox get put in place, they'd chuck a $20 gift card in it because they, from what they tell me, we're very confident if they give one of those new homeowners a $20 gift card, they're going to come in and spend a whole lot more while they do their initial landscaping of a new property.
That's very smart marketing, really smart marketing.
And
And
simple.
the software manages the balance on the gift card and all of that because of the unique barcode that's on the back.
Correct. Balance, expiry, all of that sort of stuff can be managed through it.
Nice.
Yeah. So yeah, look, I would say that's probably the bulk of what I wanted to run through in terms of functionality.
Excellent. Well, from a software perspective, what we're doing with landscape businesses continues to evolve, and will keep on evolving over time, like all good software does. If somebody's looked at the video and they think the software might be useful for them, the next step would be that they either call us on 1300 662 957, which is the national number, or they email sales@towersystems.com.au.
Yeah, absolutely. You've memorized what the...
No, it's awesome. It's awesome. And so you or one of your colleagues will come back to them, and the first thing you'll do, I imagine, is ask them questions about their business.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. So it's just about understanding what they need, what they're coming from, and where they want to get to with this sort of stuff, and where we can fit in with that and hopefully help.
Nice.
If like you said before, if we're not right for someone, though, we'll call it out pretty early on. We want things that fit well.
Yeah, that's good. All right, thank you very much, and I hope that your landscaping that you just completed is to your satisfaction.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, so I'm very happy. Yeah.
Right.
Thanks.